But after Trump paused tariffs linked to Greenland, the European Union has called for an emergency envoy meeting. Now, this is over the Greenland Trump. Important to understand that Trump has slapped about 10% tariffs on European Union allies. This is in context of Greenland. Remember that the US president has previously also said that he will take strict actions against the countries that are opposing the US's stance on Greenland. Meanwhile, in the latest that we're getting you at this hour, the European Union has called emergency envoys meeting for Sunday after Trump has vowed tariffs linked to Greenland ambassadors. Important to understand that this is in context of the Greenland row that has now ensued. Remember that the US president has vowed time and again that it is crucial for the United States' national security to take Greenland as part of the United States. Remember that he's also cautioned and said that if the US does not do this, then Russia and China will jump in and take Greenland. Now, the US President Donald Trump has vowed a wave of increasing tariffs on European allies until the United States is allowed to buy Greenland. This is the latest that we're tracking at this hour. Remember that the US President has cautioned and said that he will levy about 10% tariffs on 8 different NATO allies, and these tariffs come into effect on the 1st of February. And after these tariffs, the threat of these tariffs that has been announced by the US President, the European Union has called for an emergency envoys meeting. This is over Greenland, as Trump has slapped 10% tariffs on the European Union allies over Greenland. Well, on this, we have my colleague Vishal joining us on the broadcast. Vishal, what sort of action are we expecting from the European Union allies? This is a major, escalation by the US President Donald Trump, where he slapped as many as 10% tariffs on the European Union allies.
Well, any major action from the EU side is not expected because EU has been known to give out these statements but not really act when it comes to the US, because the US has been almost bullying the EU on many fronts when it comes to Greenland and other issues. Greenland in particular has been a major point of contention between US and the EU because, as you mentioned rightly, the US wants to buy Greenland, and Greenland is not ready to, relent, and Denmark, which governs over Greenland, is also not ready to relent, and it wants to continue governing over Greenland. It's a very complex issue. The allies and the many experts say that if US invades or goes on to buy Greenland, that will sort of dismantle the whole NATO organization, the big North Atlantic Treaty Organization, one of the biggest military treaties in the world. So it's a very deadlocked and complex kind of issue. What EU will do, only time will tell. But EU has been, quite supportive when it comes to Greenland. It has sent many forces. France, Sweden, Netherlands, they have all sent forces to Greenland for some exercises, military exercises. It coincides with these thought processes that the US has shown it has changed. So we'll have to wait for a lot of these confirmations, because we still don't know what the EU or the US will actually do on this front, and the US continues to say that it wants to buy Greenland.